For you, I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real, relevant, and relatable content on today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. I am super thrilled to be with you all today. First of all, for those of you that don't know, today is my birthday. I am 54 years old, quite excited about that as well. And we have a very special treat for you all today. I'm not going to waste one moment of time. We're going to jump right into today's discussion. We have with us today Dr. George C. Fraser. So I hope that you'll go ahead and urgently grab your virtual seats and let us know where you're chiming in from. You can type the name of your business as well and your name. And if you have a question throughout today's discussion, go ahead and type it in early on so that when we finish hearing from Dr. George C. Fraser, we'll have the opportunity to get some of your questions addressed. Tag your friends, your family, your coworkers, business associates, and let them be a part of today's deep dive is what I'll call it. It's going to be a deep dive discussion. So welcome again to this episode. As leaders and viewers of the Kim Jacobs Show, Dr. George C. Fraser will be sharing some statistics that you may or may not be aware of, and his mission to be able to connect, grow, and prosper Black Americans. He will also give an overview of a big event that's happening right in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, I know we stream in over 100 countries, but we're talking about Charlotte, North Carolina. If you can make your way to the Charlotte, North Carolina area on July 10th through the 13th, you are in for a tremendous treat. We're going to be talking about how you can be a part of this important movement, is what it is. It's truly a movement, and you don't want to miss this opportunity. After Dr. Fraser speaks and shares his philosophies and just insight on things that we need to be more educated about as African Americans, then you're going to get the opportunity to ask your questions and get those questions answered. But we invite you again to put your name, your title of your business, and even just put the name of your business as well. Now, Dr. Fraser, this is a big deal because a lot of times people love for their bios to be read. They love the sizzle and the hype. But Dr. Fraser begs to differ with that. He actually said that for 40 years, he's insisted that there be no sizzle reel of his life's work or purpose until there was something to quantify and sizzle about, right? So he was born in 1945 in Brooklyn, New York, to a troubled family of 11 children. After serious mental health issues with his mom, at 2 years old, he and 6 of his siblings were orphaned. And this, I don't want to just brush past it. Him and 6 of his siblings were orphaned, y'all. Then he was put into toxic foster homes. So he wasn't just gone on to lifelong bliss. He was put into toxic foster homes for a total of 16 years. He was not considered to even be college material, according to those that were over him. So he went on to a vocational school, a vocational high school, and then he did get a diploma in carpentry. The rest, of course, we know is total history because nobody can dictate the outcome of your destiny and put a hold on what God has in store for this man, Dr. Fraser. Dr. Fraser has always believed, and it's not how you start, it's how you finish. That God has great plans for each and every one of us. And we must simply listen for his voice. We have to listen and lean in and hear the voice of God. Follow directions, overcome the obstacles, and stay the course. Just like Nehemiah, stay on that wall, stay the course. Dr. Fraser stayed the course. Dr. Fraser's favorite line is from super rapper Drake. Okay. He said, I'm not a rapper, but I can go, I am from the bottom. So I'll go like, hey, started from the bottom. Now we're here. We started from the bottom. Now we here. All right. All right. He is 79. Here is 79 years of life in 120 seconds. I want you all to just brace yourselves and sit back and enjoy what you're getting ready to hear as we introduce Dr. George C. Fraser. Here we go. All right, welcome to the Kim Jacobs Show, Dr. George C. Fraser. How are you, Dr. Fraser?
I am doing wonderful. I don't know what your audience saw, but there was no sound. But I didn't hear any sound. Did you see the full video?
Oh, yes, I could see it. Could you, Mackenzie,
Okay, but yeah,
backstage?
it was mostly truncated, a few still pictures, and then it ended. But this is normal when you're trying to play a video over social media. Unless you test it, it's just not going to come out right. I've seen this happen
Oh,
many,
I
many
tested
times.
it. Let's
But
see
again,
here.
I don't know what the audience saw though. Maybe the
Let's,
audience saw what you saw. I was in the waiting room.
okay, let me see. Let me just make sure, because if it did not play right, guess what? We won't go further until it does play right. That's for sure. Because I'm a big
Yeah.
believer that we are
Now
going to
maybe
have
I'm the only. Maybe it was just me. I don't know, but it just
Did the
didn't.
video play right, everyone in the studio audience? I need somebody to respond and let me know. Mackenzie, did it play on your end? Okay, let me see. What we're going to do is we're going to play it again just to be on the safe side, because I
Yeah.
don't want to take a chance for it not to have played properly. And it's just double the pleasure. How about that? All right. So give me a second. I'll put it back up myself right now. All right, everyone. It did play perfectly that time. And guess what? We are honored to have Dr. George C. Fraser with us right here on the Kim Jacobs Show. Welcome, Dr. Fraser. How are you today?
I am doing awesome. It's good to be with you and good to see you again. As you said, we go back a long way. And as an OG, it's an honor to be on your show. And we made it work. I'm here, out here in Los Angeles and
Yes.
getting ready to go to Tiffany Haddish's She Ready Foundation event tonight with a galaxy of stars. And I'm excited. But this is the cherry on top this morning, being with you.
That is awesome. And congratulations on her event, She Ready organization. And because you have come from an orphan situation yourself, this this holds a special place in your heart, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. No question about it. And so
Awesome.
um, I'm ready whenever you are. Whatever you want to
Okay.
talk about, I can tee I
Let
can tee
me
a
roll my
couple of things
sleeves
up.
up.
Yeah,
Let me roll my
yeah.
sleeves up here, only because
and
everyone,
and
as we
and
get ready to talk, he's going to talk for about 30 minutes. And then at that point, you'll get a chance, even during the conversation, go ahead and start typing the questions that come to your mind. That'll give him a chance to address your question directly. As Dr. Fraser said, I had the opportunity of meeting him 12 years ago. I interviewed him on PBS and the Word Network at the old Jim and Tammy Faye Baker studio. He flew in, and that's where I met with you about the power of networking. And then prior to that, Dr. Fraser, 15 years before that, now 27 years ago, you came to a house party where it was 10 couples and it was in Washington, D.C. And you came to speak to us in an intimate setting about success runs in our race. And that changed
yeah.
our lives forever. So thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Well,
Okay.
I don't know how to follow that. That's a great story. Let me just uh, uh, set out the landscape
Yes.
of why you are who you are, why I am who I am, and we are supposed to be. I mean, the overall arching mission of the Power Networking Conference now in its 23rd year. Forbes magazine named it one of the top five conferences in America not to be missed. I mean, it's not one of the top five Black conferences, one of the top five of all conferences. So it's a place where brothers and sisters who are in their right mind ought to be around brothers and sisters who are in their right mind. Why is that, Dr. Fraser? Because old keys will not open new doors, right? A house divided amongst itself will not stand, right? Ain't nobody saving black people but black people. It's been 400 years and we ain't saved. Who in the heck are we waiting for? We're waiting for each other. We're waiting for us, right? We are standing on the shoulders of giants,
Mhm.
right? A 400-year fight for our freedom, right? From 1619 to 1864, a 250-year fight to overcome oppression and slavery. From 1864 to 1964, a 100-year fight for civil rights, voting rights, public access, right? We must never, ever, ever forget the struggles our forefathers and ancestors have gone to and gone through so we could have this conversation on
Yeah.
social media today. No question about that. There's a question, the bigger question for all of us is, are we worthy of that legacy? Right?
Yes.
Are we worthy of that legacy? And if you feel that we're worthy of that legacy, the bigger question is, what then will be the legacy of Generation X, Y, Z, and Generation Alpha?
Yeah.
What will our children be saying about them 150 years from now?
Yeah.
And I hope they will be bragging about solving the deep equation in our culture, and that is economics. Economics is the new black power. We cannot allow our legacy, Sister Kim, right, to end with the civil rights struggle. So that's part one. Part two, there was an occasion in my life that changed my life. It was night, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Right? We
Yes.
always have a teacher that we remember, right? There's
Yes.
some
We do.
teacher in our lives that we can call up even at this stage in our life and say, this particular teacher did or said something that in effect changed my life at that time. Well, This is 1962. I hadn't graduated from high school. I was 17 years old, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, Bed-Stuy. And I was running the streets of Harlem, 125th Street and Lenox Avenue. There was a young brother on the corner, on a soapbox, literally.
Literally,
Speak.
right?
Yeah. Old school, right? And that's how Malcolm X started. And people were gathering around him. His name was Stokely Carmichael. He later changed his name to Kwame Ture. Okay, married the beautiful Miriam Makeba from South Africa and moved to Africa. But on that day, he was on the corner in Manhattan, in the community of Harlem, and he said something so powerful, and I didn't realize it at that time. I just knew it sounded incredible. That it embedded itself in my subconscious mind and changed the entire trajectory of my life. So I'm going to quote to you what Stokely Carmichael said on that corner. I'm not going to paraphrase it because I want everybody watching this and listening to this to get the essence of what this brother said, because it still stands true to this day. And this was said in 1962. He said that no black person in this country makes any advancement solely based on his or her talent or worth. All individual advancement is based on mass struggle, that we make no progress in this world without shedding our blood. Thus, your advancement and success does not belong to you. It belongs to the people. And if you do not use your success or advancement for the benefit of your people, it is a betrayal of the people who shed their blood for you.
Yes.
That's a mic drop.
That's a real
That's a
mic
mic,
drop.
that's a mic drop.
Yes, it
So
is.
that resonated deeply in my subconscious mind. As I matured and got older, it became clear to me what my assignment and unique purpose was in this life, because we all have a unique purpose. There's a job that God has assigned only you to do, Kim. And if you do not do it, it will not get done in the universe. And we're depending upon you to discover and to go down the path, the twisted and bumpy road path, to find out why God put you here and to do that work. Now, it will be whatever you've been chosen to do, it will be consistent with the purpose of life. And the purpose of life is not complicated. Why, Dr. Fraser? Because God doesn't make anything complicated. We make things complicated. We make things
That's right.
complicated for a couple of reasons. One, um, the reason we tend to make things complicated is so that we don't have to do it. Right?
That's
So the more complicated I can make something, the more reasons I have for not doing it. The other reason we tend to complicate things is to control power. You see, if I know something, if I know more than you about a particular thing and you know less, I then have power over you. So I'm going to uncomplicate for everyone smart enough to be watching us this morning the purpose of life. Right?
yes.
Right. So write this down, brothers and sisters, because you'll never be able to unhear it. And bottom line, you'll never be able to say that you don't know what the meta purpose of life. Now, hopefully, you know what your unique purpose is, but here's the meta purpose:
Yeah.
to love, to give, to serve, and to add the highest value to somebody or something every minute of every day. That
Make sure you
is
all are
your
typing this: to love, to give, to
to
serve.
serve and to add the highest value to somebody or something every minute of every day. That is your purpose of life. Of course, your value is is predicated on your commitment to what? Personal growth and development, lifelong learning, and constant never-ending improvement. Right? I am 80, almost 80 years old. Right? I am still learning every minute of every day, and I use those lessons. Right? The stumbling, the falling, the making mistakes, to grow my mind and to grow our culture and to grow our people. So we have to constantly change. That's really what I am saying. And if you're fortunate enough to live 8 passages in life, and each passage is 10 years,
Mhm.
now why is that, Dr. Fraser, because you're a different person at 10 than you were at 1. You're a different person at 20 than you were at 10. Let us pray. You're a different person at 30 than 20, 40 than 30, 50 than 40, 60 than 50, 70 than 60, 80 than 70. You're constantly evolving. And thus change is required.
Yes.
But you will never change that which you tolerate. You will only change when you get angry, right? People will not change when they see the light, Kim.
And why
People will
is that though,
change.
Dr. Fraser?
People
Why?
will change when they feel the heat. You change your shoes when your feet hurt. In spite of the fact of how pretty they may be, but your damn feet hurt. You're going to change your shoes. So when we are hurting, when we cannot stand it, what did Fannie Lue-Hing say? There's a very famous quote, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Right? She got sick and then she went to work. So this is a metaphor for all of us, that we have to answer the ultimate question given to us by the French philosopher Frantz Fanon. And Frantz Fanon said there are 3 questions that you will spend the rest of your life answering. And they are, who am I? Why do I exist? And am I all that I am capable of being?
That's right.
Right? You're going to spend your whole life answering those questions because your capability, God willing, continues over time.
That's right. Constantly
Right?
evolving.
Constantly evolving. This is predicated on the fact that you understand over time the power of the human connection. There are 5 currencies in life, and relationships are one of those currencies. Time is the first currency. In fact, when Buddha was asked, what is the biggest mistake that humans make? The Buddha replied, the biggest mistake that humans make is to think they have time.
That's right.
Right? It's like I blink my eyes and 80 years is gone.
I can't
And I
believe
don't
it.
tell anybody in a New York minute, Kim, do anything but don't waste my time. I will get more money, but I will not get any more time. And I don't know how much time I have, but I'm not going to allow you to waste it. Brothers and sisters, don't waste your time. That is your number 1 currency. Your number 2 currency is your relationships. Genesis 1:31. We're going to go a little biblical here.
Okay, come on. Preach, Dr. George Fraser. And by the way, I'm going to pull 2 people in right while you're talking. I'm put them on the side over here. Coach P is going to be joining us. How are you? And how are you, Tony?
Oh my God, my left hand and my right hand.
Yes, I figured you wanted to
I'm going biblical on them right now.
All right, go ahead. Continue to break it down. Preach, Dr. George C. Fraser. Go ahead. Bring it on.
Genesis 1:31. And God saw everything that he made, and behold, he said, it was good. There's only one time in the Bible that God was unhappy with his own work. Now, this is God, and he wasn't happy with his own work. And it's in Genesis 2:18. And the Lord God said, it is not good for man to be alone.
Yes.
Therefore, I will make him a helper comparable to him. And he grabbed Adam's rib and he made woman.
Yes.
Right? There is a biblical declaration on the importance of the human connection, John 5:30. And it's a direct quote from Jesus Christ. Now, here's a stat for you. There are 800,000 words in the Bible. Only 1,500 words are a direct quote from Jesus Christ. John 5:30. And Jesus said, I of my own self can do nothing. Now, this was Jesus, the Son of God, the anointed one, and he couldn't get it done on his own by himself in a vacuum. So, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, what's up with you? Why would you think you could do anything significant, anything worth talking about on your own by yourself in a vacuum? You cannot. And God's love of the human connection is very clear. And he gave us two ways to ensure that we connect. He gave us sex and money.
Sex
Now,
and money, okay.
sex and money. Now let me unpack that for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's you're gonna have to break that down a little bit
Unpack
more.
that for you. I'm gonna keep it clean. The
Oh yeah,
inspiration.
I should have did a disclaimer that Dr. George C. Fraser, he will cuss now, so keep that in mind, y'all. Go ahead.
At the appropriate moment in time. Sometimes you
Right,
just
right.
you watch things in our lives and you just got to curse. But that's a whole
Okay.
nother story. You right. I was on a roll here. I was on a roll, darling. I was on a roll. Um, he gave us sex. So the inspiration for sex is ecstasy. There's no feeling on earth like it. But that is not the goal of sex. The goal of sex is what? Procreation. That's the goal of sex, to produce more of God's children, to serve you, and for you to serve. That's the goal of sex. Then he gave us money. That's a big one. Now, let's ask ourselves a deep question. How do you earn money? Through service. That's how you earn money. And the more service you can provide, the more expertise you have, the more people that you can serve, and the more money you can make. So let's say Beyonce has been working on her career since she was a little kid. We've seen the videos, right? Since she was a little kid. Today, when you want to go see Beyonce because she's all that in a bag of chips, you have to go to a stadium and purchase a seat for $1,000. So she has developed her skills to the extent that 60,000 people will go to a stadium and pay Beyonce and her team $1,000 a head. So that is the spectrum of one's earning power and their ability to build wealth, is the enhancement of your own personal growth and development, lifelong learning, constant and never ending improvement, and the volume of people that you serve. If you can speak, if you can write, now you can put your information, your knowledge, you can do it through the spoken word or the written word, and you can multiply the number of people that you serve. But you get paid for speaking, but to large numbers of people, and you get paid for writing, and thousands of people read your book, if not millions of people read your book. So do you understand? That is how we maintain the human connection. Wealth through service. Malcolm Gladwell, one of my favorite writers, and I read about 100 books a year. Now, I have an advantage. I have 10.5 million frequent flyer miles from nearly 50 years of traveling. I traveled here from Cleveland to Los Angeles. I'll go back in the morning, and I'll be on a plane and in the airport for almost 15 hours, both ways. Okay? What do I do? Right? I'm not playing games on social media. I'm reading. But Malcolm Gladwell is one of my favorite. And he said that the most common attribute of the rich are friends, contacts, and connections. Rich people have lots of friends. Let me say that differently. You're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. The fastest way to change yourself is to hang out with people who are already where you want to be. What am I saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, kings and queens? Don't spend major time with minor people. People going nowhere want you to go nowhere with them. People doing nothing want you to do nothing with them. If you want to change your life, change your relationships. If you are not where you want to be in life, it's because you're not hanging out with the right people in life. That's on you. You chose them. Let me make another declaration here. The most powerful asset that you will have in the 21st century will not be your computer. It will not be AI. It will be your relationships.
That's good. Good.
That's what it will be. And most of us are going to be in some sort of business. I don't care if it's a for profit or not for profit, it is still business. Mm-hmm. If you're working in the public or private sector as an employee, it's still a business. And business is about relationships. Without relationships, you don't have any business. Without relationships, you have no business being in business. In fact, the business you're really in is in the business of building relationships. That's the business you're in. I was talking to a young brother. He called me to get some coaching. This is about a week ago. He was trying to climb the corporate ladder at Microsoft, and he wanted some advice. So I started by saying, listen, you have to understand that there's politics at every level, wherever you work. And you have to understand how to navigate and negotiate the politics of that culture. He said, "Oh, Dr. Fraser, I don't like politics. I don't get in politics. I don't want to be involved in politics. I mean, it's a bunch of BS." I said, "Okay, this is my final piece of advice for you. Tomorrow morning, go down to the human resource department and resign, because you ain't going nowhere." Okay. I mean, you're going to get as far as your talent will get you, and then it will end, and it will depend on the relationships and the politics of the culture of that corporation, letting those friends and bosses and supervisors know what you're doing, how you're doing it, how you can help others do it better. So unless you're playing in that space and game in life, not alone, not just alone in politics, you ain't going nowhere, because it's a reflection of your emotional intelligence and your EQ, right? And your emotional intelligence basically is the proper management of your five most important emotions and how you handle those emotions as you communicate and work with and through other people. And as you get older and wiser, you're going to find out that your EQ, your emotional quotient, will be far more important than your IQ. I don't care if you have a PhD from MIT in computer science. If you have the personality of a box of rocks, you ain't going nowhere. It just won't happen for you. You can't get along and work with and through other people, and you don't know how to properly serve and add value to other people's lives, right? So that is, in fact, what we have to do. And if you're in a business, let me give you a simple piece of advice. You don't build your business. You build your people, and your people build your business. Right? We've been putting on a global conference now. This is our 23rd year. Mm-hmm. Yes, I conceived it. But you think it would last for 23 years? Me being a narcissist and say, "Oh yeah, I can do this all by myself. I don't need anybody. I'm all that in a bag of chips. I can speak, I can write, I can do this." Oh, hell to the no. We wouldn't be celebrating our second anniversary. It is finding the right people who share a common vision, who want what you want, and you provide them with the love and the support and the tools that they need to help inform and build the business. That's really what it is, right? That's really what it is. So that is, I mean, it's really no more complicated, Kim, than that, right? That's the essence of it, right? That's the bottom line. You've got to get your people skills together, your emotional intelligence. Yes, you got to have a brain. You got to know something. Hopefully, you're reading. Now, the average American, if the truth be known, only reads one book a year.
Right.
Right? Now, if you make a commitment just to read one book a month,
yes.
In 5 years, you will have read 60 books, and the average American will have only read five. You are going to be better prepared. You're going to move beyond average, beyond good to excellent. And if you're really a reader and a learner through experiences, mistakes, obstacles, you're going to be amazing. Yes. Amazing. Pamela is amazing.
Yes, she is.
Pamela is amazing. And Tony, amazing. When you are amazing at whatever you do, you will never have to worry about opportunity.
Never.
Opportunity will hunt you down and employ you. Black people cannot be average. Only white people can be average. You know how many average white people I've worked for in my life, with 20 years in the public and private sector, 13 with Procter and Gamble, 3 as vice president of United Way, and 2 as an executive with the Ford Motor Company. You know how many average people I worked with that were white, right? So I just shake my head. This is why eventually I said, no, 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 no. I'm not going to do this for them. I'm going to do this for the culture, for me, and for all those who want the same thing that I want. Right? So we have some challenges now. Make no mistake about it. We have some challenges, but we'll either rise or we're going to die. Right? There are some things that currently are an existential crisis for our culture. I said an existential. It's threatening our existence. In
Yes, it
spite of
is.
the fact that we have been resilient and productive and creative for 400 years in this country, dragged over here, not as immigrants. You realize that the only major culture in America that are not immigrants? We didn't, we didn't come over here voluntarily. We
Right.
were dragged over here in chains, right? So the core thing that is falling apart in our culture, there are several, but I'm going to just address one
Okay.
because it is Friday, and I don't want to depress people too much, but they need to know these things
Yes.
because we can deal with them. But the core thing is the whole concept of family in Black America, the state of Black male female relationships, and the state of marriage in our culture. Now, there is no culture in this world that has risen to maximize their full cultural human potential
Mhm.
without family being at the center of that culture. Family. We know what the mantra of our brown people, Hispanics,
Mhm.
La Familia. Hell, they got stores named after the center of their culture, the family. The
Yes.
family. And we have got to fix that. The state of marriage in our culture, when I was growing up, it was 85%. Now it's 34%. And all the statistics produced by the Pew Research, and white people count. They have more data points on us, on our consumption patterns, and what's going on in our culture than we have. And the data points say that if nothing changes, if we don't fix this
That's right.
concept of family in the Black community, within another generation, it will be in the low teens.
Mhm.
Now, I'm old enough to remember a very important study that was done in 1964 and 65.
Okay.
Lyndon Johnson was president. And there was a note, there was a statistic that was posted that was alarming as it relates to, at that time, we were called Negroes.
Mhm.
And the statistic was that out of wedlock birth rate among Negroes in 1965 was 25%, and it was only 5% for white people. So Lyndon Baines Johnson asked the Harvard professor Daniel Patrick Moynihan, senator from New York, to do a study on what is this problem? Why is the uh, uh, out of wedlock birth rate 5 times higher than white people in the Negro community? So he did a national study. It came out in 1965. It was called the Moynihan Report. It was titled "The State of Negro, the state of problem, the state of the family problem in the Negro culture,
Okay.
Negro community."
Mhm.
Well, it was very controversial, and we hated it, and we said it was stone cold racist. Here was the prediction: 1965. It said that if nothing changes as it relates to family and out of a wedlock birth rate in the Black community, within about 40 years, marriage, the concept of marriage, will be well below 40%,
Hmm.
and out of wedlock birth rates will be in the 60 to 70%. And everybody said that's an exaggeration, that's BS. That was 1965. Well, what happened, Dr. Fraser? Fast forward, what happened, Kim? Exactly what they projected. Exactly what white folks projected based on metrics and trends. And we poo-pooed it. Now 70% of our children are born out of wedlock, 80% of our children are being raised in a single parent household, principally by our women. We've got to fix that.
Yes.
How are we doing? The Institute of Policy Studies did a major study in April of 2016 and said that by 2023, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. By 20, what was? Let me get by. Let me get the statistic right. I'm trying to remember the statistic.
2053.
2053, but there was one that said that if nothing changes about that's true, Tony, and I'll get to that in a second. There was one statistic that said that if nothing changes, it will take Black people 228 years, if ever, to close the income and wealth gap in this country.
Hmm.
And you know, and we probably will not, which means we'll end up in a second slavery. Then it went on to say in the same report, you can Google this, you don't have to take my
Oh, yeah.
word for it, by 2053, right? If nothing changes among Black folks in America, household median income will be zero. Zero. Again, in a market based economy, a democratic capitalist society, this is not good. So we have to fix this, because not only does this out of wedlock birth rate deeply impact the sociological conditions of our culture, the foundation of our culture, family, it also impacts wealth.
Yes, it does.
So the latest report by Pew Research had it looking like this: East Indians have replaced white people as the number one median household income. This is as of 11/22. East Indians have $124,000 average household median wealth. What is the marriage rate in the East Indian culture? 94%. The second, who also replaced white people, are Chinese Asians, and their average median household income is $109,000. What's the marriage rate in the Chinese Asian community? 61%. Third now are white people at an average household median wealth income at $81,000. A marriage rate in the white household is 57%. Hispanics are fourth, $63,000 median household income. What is the marriage rate in the Hispanic community? 67%. Blacks are at the bottom of all the major cultural groups. Household median income at $53,000 a year. And what is the marriage rate in our culture? 34%. 66% of our men are not married. 71% of our women are not married, and 29% of them will never get married. We must fix that. Now, maybe because we're the most creative people on the planet, maybe we change the definition, and maybe it's not called marriage anymore. Maybe it's called situationship. Your situation, whatever it may be, is congruent with my situation. And therefore, we come together, because when two are working together, we can see that annual household income is much higher. and we come together and let's call it a joint venture. Now, whether we want to sign the business contract of marriage, because marriage is a serious business, right? And there's protections and there's certain advantages when you sign a business contract called the vows in marriage. There are certain government benefits that married people get that single people don't get. But anyway, we have got to fix this, because without couples, let's just put it that way. You heard I didn't say without marriage. Without couples, you have no families. Without families, you have no community. Without community, you have no tradition. Without tradition, you have no culture. That's a mic drop.
Yeah.
That's on us, right? There ain't nobody fixing that but us.
But us. Wow.
So I don't know if that. So I'll give a couple of other things, and then I know we're at the half-hour point. There is hope, no question about that. But all of this is easy to say, Kim. Very difficult to do. I mean, if it was easy, why would God need you? This is difficult to do, right? This is difficult to do. There will be obstacles. And Pam and Tony have heard me say this many times. My favorite quote outside of the Bible, is a quote by Marcus Aurelius, one of the co-founders of the Stoic philosophy, of which I've been studying for years.
Okay.
Right? And it was Marcus Aurelius who said in 600 BC, before Christ, he said that the impediment to action advances the action. What stands in your way becomes the way. Let me say that a different way. The obstacle is the way. Where there is no obstacle, there is no way. Let me say that a different way. Obstacles do not block the path. Obstacles are the path. In fact, if you're going down a smoothly paved path with white lines and there are no obstacles, that path probably doesn't lead anywhere. Right?
That's correct, I'm sure.
So this is what we must understand. I eat obstacles for breakfast. Obstacles are nutrition for me. I think it's nutrition for Pamela and Tony too.
And
Because
too.
all the obstacles that have been put in their way, just in my close personal friendships and working with them on a big project on the Power Networking Conference, right? They have found ways over, around, through, and under those obstacles, because that's how you learn, making mistakes, stumbling, falling, failing. And then you take those lessons and you apply it to the next task that you're given by God, right? And when God gives you a task, what's the first thing he does? He puts an obstacle in your way. And your job, again, is to find a way over, around, through, and under those obstacles, right? And then you use that information to continue to grow your life.
Yes.
You find a path. You can't find a path with no obstacles, right? So those are moral lessons. Now, here's some inspiration, brothers and sisters, and then I'm going to open it up for questions, and we're going to talk about the Power Network. Because we cover all this like a rug, 4 days, 12 hours a day at the Power Networking Conference in the great Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina, where I have many friends, and my sister lives there. One of the things that influenced me, I got my wife of 51 years, she agreed to move to Charlotte. Right, so we were sort of sweet on Charlotte, right? We left Houston and now we're in Charlotte. We're really excited. We'll be at the convention center at the Westin Hotel. There's a special offer that ends today on the website, Power Networking. There it is, conference.com or Power Networking conference EX, which is now we've refurbished it from the Power Networking Conference to the Power Networking Experience and Expo. Okay, so um, so what was I going to say? Oh, I was going to talk about here's the inspiration, and I'm finished. Um, there was a major study done 5 years ago. Google it, brothers and sisters. You can see it for yourself. By the Institute, no, not the Institute of Policy, New England Journal of Medicine. New England Journal of Medicine, first medical journal in America, and one of the great medical journals in the world. There are many medical journals, and it was a longitudinal study on the three most productive periods of your life. The third most productive period of your life is between 50 and 60.
Hmm.
The second most productive period of our lives is how brilliant God is. The second most productive is between 70 and 80. This is according to science. This is not hyperbole. And the number one most productive period of our lives is between 60 and 70. So what does that mean, Dr. Fraser? That means that from 0 to 49, you ain't done shit yet. All you are doing is being prepared by God to overcome the obstacles put in your way, learn the lessons, and prepare you to do your best work the final 30 years of your life. Now, at nearly 80, I'm 79, I'm doing the best work of my life. There's no question about that. I took care of myself, right? I learned and I applied what I learned. That's why Pam is at my right and Tony is at my left, or on different days it's different positions. But that's how I roll. That's who I hang with. I hang with people who understand what I understand and are executing on it and not just talking about it. We got a whole lot of us just talking about it. So we got to move beyond discussion to action. And so I'm an actionaire.
Yes, you are.
Pam's an actionaire. Tony is an actionaire. It's a word coined by one of the billionaire panelists and speakers at our conference has been for years. Dr. Michael Roberts wrote a book called Actionaires, people who move beyond just talking.
That's
Right?
good.
Because Mama taught me many years ago, what you do speaks so loudly I can't hear what you say. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'll be more than happy to answer. I'll answer questions until the lights go out.
Until the lights go out, y'all. Okay. Wow. Okay. So we have had a significant amount of information shared with us today from Dr. George C. Fraser. You're going to have to go back and watch the replay, take out a journal and write notes and apply some of these significant teachings to our lives. Because as Maya Angelou often says, she said, do the best you can until you know how to do better. But then once you know how to do better, do better.
Do better.
So
That's
today, we have Dr. George C. Fraser
There you
sharing
go.
with us how to do better. And we don't have any excuses. We can take all the excuses off the table. Tony, I know you're here today. I want to make sure I give you the opportunity to say a testimonial about you attending the conference in years past. So if you take it away and say something.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great to be with you, Kim, and Coach P as always, and my mentor, Dr. George C. Fraser. Um, every time I hear him, I get more and more nuggets. And, just as far as the conference, the Power Networking now Experience and Expo, this will be my 7th year. And I tell you, my first experience was absolutely amazing. It was when we were at the National Harbor there in Maryland, and just to I don't know, it was a carload of us drove up, right, and just to walk in there and see over 1,000 business owners, 1,000 executives, 1,000 people that look like us, that
Yeah.
was top of the game. And so the power networking from a business standpoint, let me just say this, it's been a blessing. It's been an extreme blessing. But the relationships have been the richest thing. And not just my relationship with Dr. Fraser, but if I could share a story, if you don't mind, if I do that real quick. We were there in Baltimore Harbor and we were setting up our booth and everything. And this gentleman came walking through. This gentleman was in an old T-shirt. Jeans weren't, I mean, he looked like he was just coming off the street. He had a Detroit hat on, and being a Michigan native, I said, I'm gonna talk to this guy. I mean, it was an older gentleman, and it just looks like he was, like I said, it looks like he was someone that had been sleeping on the street. And I struck a conversation with him, and as he was going by, I joked with him a little bit. We had a conversation. Well, the next morning, he was the millionaire on the stage that Dr. Fraser was interviewing. So there's a lot of lessons in this, right? Number one is, what does the millionaire next door look like? Number two, you don't know if you're entertaining angels. And number three is, you don't know where those relationships were. Because I did not know who he was, because he looked, I think he had a great deal of respect for me. We found out we went to the same school. And fast forward a few years, my son is going to Morehouse, and if you've been to HBCU, financial aid. So we're in the hall with everybody else in financial aid. This gentleman actually called me, and he called me, and he says, "Hey, Tony, how you doing? Just checking in with you." And I said, "Oh yeah, I'm at Morehouse financial aid for my son." He said, "Oh really? Yeah, I've been out here waiting a couple hours, And he says, "Well, go tell the receptionist that that I'm going to call Mr. Euclid." And he said, "Tell them exactly that." The gentleman's name is William Picard. So I went and I told the receptionist, William Picard said he's going to call Mr. Euclid on my behalf. Well, the next thing you know, I was ushered into the conference room. They ordered lunch. It was just amazing, because he had just given Morehouse $1 million. And Mr. Euclid was the treasurer of the board of directors for Morehouse. But that's just one example of those relationships that we develop when we're at the Power Networking Experience and Expo. Everyone's approachable. Dr. Fraser talked about Michael Roberts. I'm a spoiled gentleman, because every Thursday morning I start my day off with the billionaire Michael V. Roberts in the morning, and I end my day with a call with Dr. George Fraser. So that bookends my Thursdays. So all I got to say, I know you're jealous, all right, if you listen to this, but that's my guy, and I love him. And I just want to tell everyone, come to the Power Networking Experience. There's no words that really can explain the experience that you'll have. But so that's all I have to say, is really just come, experience it. You will not regret it. It will be the greatest investment you make this summer. I promise you that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your testimony. And I'm sure that many people will be packing out the house as a result of just what you shared alone, because we're entertaining angels unaware. And again, the conference is July 10th through the 13th. It's taking place right at the Charlotte Convention Center. You don't want to miss the opportunity. We put a link in the comments section for you to go ahead and click that link and register today. Don't let today go by and then later you're trying to scramble around and figure out how you can get in the building whenever the opportunity is being presented to you today. So go get it. It's a discounted rate for you to be in the house. Pamela, I want to make sure I give you a moment to have the floor, and then we're going to go quickly to some of your questions. I do see your questions, and give Dr. George Fraser a chance to answer a few of them. Okay, we may not be able to answer all of them right now, but we will answer as many as we can. Take it away, Coach P.
Equipped, empowered, poised, and positioned to move those who are ready to move is my ultimate mission. I wake up every day determined to make a difference in my assigned place. You see, my purpose My passion and my focus is to take you from where you are to where you want to be. I'm Pamela Lue-Hing, better known as Coach P with Powerhouse Unlimited LLC. And thank you so much, Kim Jacobs, for the work that you're doing in our community. We so appreciate that. And I share my affirmation, if you will, because that's who I am. And I live that every day. And it's a blessing to have aligned with one of God's best, Dr. George C. Fraser. And, you know, he talked about building people, building the relationships. And I cannot tell you how blessed I have been in these few short months of getting to know Dr. Fraser. And that's the reason why I've rolled up my sleeves to do my part in helping this conference come to Charlotte so that we can all benefit. And I really, really have become, how can I say, I'm just a student. And every time Dr. Fraser speaks, I have my pen and paper sitting right by me, even if it's a quick meeting about the business, right, of the conference. I'm learning, right? Yes, Kim, yes, I'm learning. And that's what the conference is going to be about. It aligns with who I am. And that's why I share my information, because the conference aligns with who I am and what I'm focused on. Dr. Fraser aligns with who I am. He helps me be a better me. Can you imagine being in his space for 4 days? And that's what's going to happen. Dr. Fraser and so many people like him, they are the same as I and the same as Tony, right? We want to align ourselves with people who think bigger, who expand their capacity by meeting people to help them expand their capacity, because we cannot grow in silos. So we must be present. We must show up to go up. And so I'm going to be in the house. I know that those who are out there who believe in what Dr. Fraser has put down today are going to be there to capture some of this so that you can be a better you, that you can build your businesses and create the relationships that need to be created to take you where you need to be. And most of all, serve those who God is calling you to serve. So that's it. That's my stories, Dr. Fraser said, and I'm sticking to it.
And Dr. Fraser, you want to say anything before we go to the questions? Your internet is probably messing up a little bit. Say it one more time. Okay. No, the internet it's not working right. We missing some powerful information, y'all. Dr. Fraser, we can't hear you right now.
They're gonna have to come to the conference to get it. They're gonna have to come to the conference and get what they're missing right now.
That's right, Tony.
That's how the Lord. We can't hear you. That's how the Lord works. I'm gonna have you go out and come right back in, because I think just the connection in where you are, the hotel is
yes.
Okay.
So Kim, you talked about the day, today being the day. So the special pricing ends today. Okay. So when you go out there tomorrow, it's going to be the regular price. And if you want that special price, then you've got to join today, right? And it's going to be so very exciting. And you not just purchase your ticket as an adult, it also includes a young adult between the ages of 18 to 25. Because that's what Dr. Fraser is so passionate about, building generational wealth and making sure that we educate our young people. And see, that's the big, how can you say, that's the big draw for me.
Yes, it
right?
is.
Because we're doing well as adults, right? But we've got to make sure that our children and our children's children and our children's children's children are taken care of. In order to make that happen, our young people have got to be in the room. You remember when we were growing up, I don't know if y'all were like me with the grandparents, and I would go down to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and my grandfather would come down the hill and bring the peas, the purple hull peas, and everybody would have to sit around and we'd have to do the purple hull peas and have purple fingers. But the beauty in that is, as a little girl, I remember the stories that were told.
Right.
I remember capturing those nuggets that help me even today. And that's what this conference is going to be about, is sitting around the elders. Yes. And gleaming from them. So, and Tony is our chair here in Charlotte. So Tony, I'm going to pass the mic to you.
Well, yes. I wanted to add a little bit to what you're saying when we talk about generational wealth and through the Fraser organization, Frasernet, we talk about the pillars of generational wealth change, right? Okay. The first is proper management of your current assets, proper management of what you have, what God's giving you now, how to properly manage that. Number two is having the proper insurance and investment, making sure you have those things in place. And then the third is real estate. You ought to own some real estate, whether your personal residence, income property, real estate. And then the fourth is business development. And so everything that we talk about surrounds those three things. But the glue that holds that all together is the network, is the relationship. The old adage is that your net worth is your network. And that's what we be about. And if you ever read Dr. Fraser's book, Click and Success Runs in Our Race, some of these things that they're teaching at the HBCUs and those type of things, he's a great example of that. And what I want to tell people this is that Dr. Fraser doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. And there's so many people that I owe a great deal of gratitude for him for introducing me to. The other thing that I wanted to add to what Pam, and Pam is heading up our marketing effort, and
beautiful
she is
job.
doing an excellent. I mean, I thank God for Coach P. Let me tell you something that right now, because she's taken that thing and she's run with it, and we are all the better because of it. But I also want to mention this. There's also opportunities. If you have a business, if you have an organization and you would like to have an exhibit booth, those are also available. Now, they are also on sale. And so if you go to the website and that same code that Kim has, that the fabulous Kim Jacobs has for your registration, that same code will also save you on your exhibit space, which will include a ticket. And I tell people this, if you are a business owner, nonprofit, for-profit, and you're thinking about buying 2 tickets, consider buying a booth that will have your ticket, and you will have a chance to display your organization, your business to all the people that will come. And so I want to encourage people to take a look at that as well.
That's really good. And you're going to get some power coaching. Coach P, tell them about that.
Yes. So what I really, really appreciate about this Power Networking Conference is I've attended, I don't know, hundreds probably of conferences over the years, but I've never attended a conference whereby I came for the knowledge, but then I left with an action plan. And that's how Dr. Fraser has designed the conference. You come to the conference, you will leave with a plan of action because he is providing the power coaches and power mentors. So you'll be able to hear from some world-renowned speakers, but they are giving you plans of action. The power coaches, you'll be able to sit down one-on-one with the power coaches in the coaches row, decide where you need to develop. You identify those areas. Where do you need to enhance? Is it credit building? Is it your financial portfolio? Is it branding? Is it your website? What is it? What do you need to build your business? And you can get that at the conference while you're there. So you're not just learning, potential of earning as well, as you may even have potential clients there, right? And to build your network, to build your net worth, as Tony said, and to build you.
And I'll just add one more thing, and then I have to go. I'm at church. We have a homegoing service today. I need to get prepared for it. But one of the things that we've said for years is that when you come to the Power Networking experience, you ought to leave with 2 more streams of income.
Okay, good.
You ought to leave with 2 more streams of income. And part of the conference is we have what we call Power Talks, which are our version of TED Talks. You will hear 4 of those in the morning, 4 of those in the afternoon, and then you will have the opportunity to attend those workshops as well. So you have an opportunity to pick which of those 4 in each of those segments that you want to attend. And then on top of that, right, we have these panels of thought leaders in all kinds of areas, technology. And so again, the value for what you get is how we say, we have those commercials, they say priceless.
Right.
thing is truly priceless. I can't even begin to tell you the amount of revenue that this has generated for me. But again, the most precious things are those relationships. So
Okay. Well, you have our deepest condolences too. I know you said you have a homegoing celebration of life, and hopefully
yes.
that person's dash that separates the birth and the death date did make a difference as well. I know all of your lives are, so I'm praying that theirs did as well.
And certainly she's a great example of that. She's been at our church for a few years, but she certainly made an impact. And that's what we want in our life, is we want to make an impact and make this world a different place than what God has said, be the change that you want to see in the world.
That's it. That's it. So God bless you, Tony. Now
Thank you so much.
We have to get, oh, go ahead, Dr. George. We do have to get a couple of questions in for Dr. George Fraser, because I know people were asking. So I'll go ahead and take you backstage, Tony. You have a beautiful, blessed day, and deepest condolences. I see you, Dr. Lotus Riche, saying, thank you, Mr. Tony, for sharing today. You are very much appreciated. I know you're popping off, but he does some comments. Somebody had a question about monetizing their brand. Dr. George, I don't know if you want to say anything about that.
He's frozen.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Pamela, you might want to let's say something about monetizing the brand. When you're not frozen, just go ahead and speak.
Still can't hear him. Okay. To monetize my brand. Not sure of your question, Dennis, to monetize your brand. What's the actual question? How do you monetize your brand? Is that what you're asking?
How to monetize the brand.
Okay. How do you monetize your brand? A brand is connected to your marketing, right? But people connect to your brand, and then they connect to your message. And so in monetizing your brand is who you are when you're not in the room. People are talking about it. Like when we see the golden arches, what's the first thing you know? That's McDonald's. When we see the Nike swoop, what do we think of? Just do it, right? So it's recognizable and it has a message behind it. So if that is your question, how do you monetize your brand? Your brand is a part of your business, your marketing. It is who you are. And it tells your client who you serve and why you serve and how you actually help them go from point A to point B, how you fulfill a problem that they have, a need that they have, or desire or ambition that they have. So I hope that answered your question. Is Dr. Fraser? No, we can't. Dr. Fraser, can you please answer your phone? If I put it on, yes, I was going to say, because we got to hear from you before we close. Dr. Fraser, I'm calling you right now. We're going to make it do what it do, because that's what we do, right? Dr. Fraser?
Yeah. I was calling his phone too a lot, and I was like, oh, okay, there we go.
Were you?
Okay. I was told that it was going straight to voicemail because he muted it during the interview as a courtesy to the interview.
Yes.
So that's why.
Okay, so you're going to call him then.
Okay, right now I'm calling.
Okay.
All right. Oh.
Something's happening to his phone.
Oh, so it must be in the hotel room.
The charge. You need to charge it. Is that what you're saying?
Okay.
The battery is low. Can you get the charger, Doc?
Okay.
He said, wait 1 second. Is there another question that we can potentially answer while we're?
Okay. So, oh yes, we can hear you, Dr. Fraser. This is good. Those hotel internets. Okay, it's all good though. So this person wanted to know about monetizing their brand, and I'm going to just put you on mic. Okay. Can you hear him, Pamela? Can you hear me?
Can you put it up to the mic, Kim?
Where's the mic? Can you hear me? Where? Can you hear me?
It's very faint.
Pamela, call him from your phone, and then
okay,
up to your.
I will. Okay, Doc, hang up from Kim. I'm calling you now.
All right. So people connect to your brand, then to your message. Good stuff is what Dr. Lotus Rache said. And brand monetization, to answer your question also, Dennis, brand monetization, this is a great area of interest for most entrepreneurs. So you're not on the island by yourself. Okay.
Got it.
The host has muted your mic. That's what it said.
Just keep yours unmuted, Pamela, and go ahead and let it be to your mic. Go
Can
ahead.
you hear me? Unmute. Go ahead.
Okay. Can
Can
you?
you hear me?
Okay. Can you mute on the Doc? You mute on your side.
Mute on my side.
Yeah. It says mute down at the bottom.
I muted him myself, so he doesn't
Oh,
have.
did you?
Yeah.
Okay. All
So
right.
go
No,
ahead.
you're good, Doc. You're good.
This is crazy. Can you hear me? Yeah, I see. It's an echo. Yeah, hold on a second. All right, I guess. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear Kim? Kim said she can hear.
Yeah, I have a strong signal. I don't know what it is, but it is technology, so it's not perfect. Okay. I want to answer that question. But I want to say one thing. We have a big surprise guest coming to the Power Networking Conference. The guest is Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. We'll be doing the keynote speech on Friday. This is the most powerful black man in America. When we take back the House in November, he will be the Speaker of the House. He will be there. Right? So he does very few conferences, but he will be speaking at the Power Networking Conference. You can repeat these words if it's echoing. Right? So you want to be there. Hakeem Jeffries, Master P, teaching us business. Okay? You've got Rohan Marley, the son of Bob Marley, who took his name and brand and turned into $100 million business. You got Dr. Boyce Watkins. Right? So you've got the best and the brightest. Right? Some of the best and brightest. All right. Now, answer the question about branding. So I'll answer that question with a question. Can you hear me?
Let me do this. Pamela, if you could cut that off for a minute. So,
Okay.
Dr. George, can you hear me? You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm thinking is that, because usually, let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Can you say anything, Dr. George, for a second?
Hello?
Okay. Just cut your volume up a little bit, Pam, but don't put it on speaker because it's making too much of an echo.
Okay. So you said do what now?
Okay. Mute your
Mute this mic. If I mute this mic, you won't be able to hear.
just mute your computer mic for a minute.
Okay.
Put your phone on speaker.
It's on.
Put your phone. Okay. Hello? Yeah. Okay. No. So that's not gonna work. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
What
issue.
else to do?
Okay, Doc, can you start answering? Maybe I'll take it off of speaker and then I will have to do the best I can to share, I guess. That's the only way I know to do this, Kim.
Yeah, you can hang up with them, Pam, for a second.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see if I can get you. Okay, Dr. George, thank you so much for your patience. I don't know why it's not on that one end working this go around, but people can hear you faintly, but I just want to make sure that they get a chance to fully hear you. So let me see if I can go, and I'm going to put it into a different audio setting so that they can hear you. The mic, I'm going to put it to my camera thing here. And Dr. Lotus, tell me if you all can hear him clearly now. Okay, go ahead and say something, Dr. George.
Go ahead, speak.
Speak, Dr. George.
Okay. I want to talk. Okay.
Go ahead. I'll mute you out.
Did they hear me talk about Rohan? Did they hear me talk about Dr. Hakeem? I mean, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries coming to the conference. He will be
Yes.
speaking on Friday at the luncheon. Right. This is the most powerful black man in America, and he will be Speaker of the House after the election.
Can you all hear him, Pamela?
Yeah, yes, we can. And I do need to notify Dr. Fraser that he has another show that
Okay.
he's scheduled for.
Okay.
I did want to share that as well, Dr. Fraser, to remind you of that.
And so people said that you can be heard. So if it's any closing comments, then feel free. We never had this happen from a technical perspective, but it happens, life happens. So you want people to know that who's going to be the main speaker on Friday?
Yes. Congressman Hakeem Jeffries.
Congressman Hakeem Jeffries will be the speaker on Friday, and he wants everyone to know that you should be in the house. You do not want to miss that opportunity. And the way that you can get your discounted tickets today is by going to use the link that we've shared with you. And I've put it in the comment section as well. And so people are very excited about coming to this event. I see a lot of people saying having a true plan of action, Dr. Fraser. And people are saying that they're going to be coming, that they're looking forward to it, that they will be present, even though they're out of town, they're going to be traveling in for it. So quite a few comments are coming in saying that they're looking very much forward to it. Had the pleasure of being a part of a Real Men Speak Summit with Dr. Fraser. He always comes with power and fire. Everybody says, send the information. We're in. You're going to be talking about generational wealth, and they're encouraging each other. Any closing comments or things that you want to say, Dr. Fraser, because you have to go to another show?
On branding. Can you hear me?
Yes.
On branding. So here's the question. You repeat, when I say it, you repeat it. Okay. Here's the question. Are you a brand or are you a logo?
Are you a brand or are you a logo? Everyone type that in the comment section. Repeat it after Dr. Fraser. Are you a brand or are you a logo? Which one?
Now, a logo is an artistic depiction of an idea. Repeat that. Can anybody hear me? Can everybody hear me?
Pamela, you can hear, right?
Yes.
So
a logo is an artistic depiction of an idea. That's all it is.
A logo is an artistic depiction of an idea. Type that. A logo is an, say it one more time. Artistic depiction.
Mm-hmm. Of an idea.
It's just a picture of an idea.
Right. A brand is a promise.
A brand is a promise. Someone type that. A brand is a promise.
Right. So what is your promise? Do your customers know your promise? Are you delivering on your promise? Can you even articulate your promise for your brand?
Can you articulate your promise for your brand? Do people know what your promise is to them as your customers? Listen, y'all, we're not going to keep Dr. Fraser any longer. I want you to know that success runs in our race. He has been around for many years, and this man is still passionate about teaching us. The newest book is The New Flex, The Art of Being Unapologetically Black, Unapologetically Creative, Unapologetically You. And it is a special endorsement by attorney Ben Crump in there as well. And you do not want to miss this opportunity to be in the house on July 10th through the 13th. Get your tickets today. Let him know that his life has not been in vain. It's not been in vain. Let's give him his flowers while he is here on this earth. And he's poured his entire soul and his existence into helping you become a better version of you. So we can't ask for more. Okay, closing comment, Dr. George?
Yeah, very simply.
Say it again.
I want you to repeat this. Die with memories. Say that. Die with memories, not dreams. Dreams.
Woo! Y'all, he got to be on another show, and he's still trying to just make sure y'all know. He's like, look, we ain't gonna let no bad connection mess up his flow. Die with memories, not with dreams. Don't go to the grave full, y'all. Go to the grave empty, as Les Brown often says as well. We will live full and die empty. Okay, that's it. We letting you get out of here, Dr. George. I'm trying, Pamela. I'm trying.
Thank you.
It's hard to let them go.
Oh my gosh. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Dr. George C. Fraser, for being our special guest today. And again, even on CNN and all of these international platforms, there are different glitches that happen. So that's neither here nor there. Nothing stopping us from being all that God created us to be. Thank you, Dr. George C. Fraser, for being here. You go, and me and Pamela will close out, okay? All right. Peace out. He said, would love to have you on the Lotus Richey Ignite show. I'll make sure I tell them that too as well, Dr. Lotus. Die with memories and not with your dreams. Any closing comments you have, Pamela? Coach P.
You got to be in the house. That's really as much as I can say. You know, I'm full every time I hear from Dr. Fraser, right? And just his last, die with memories and not dreams. What's happening at the conference are memories.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be memories. They're going to be business deals being created. They're going to be new relationships being formed. Lives are going to be changed. Our young people are going to they're not going to leave the convention center the same. So when you purchase your registration, it also again includes a young adult between the ages of 18 to 25. You bring the young adult. And then if you say, I just want to get my ticket, I don't know a young person between the ages of 18 and 25, that's okay. We'll find one for you. There are plenty of students waiting to come to this conference. Yeah. So thank you so much again, Kim. You're doing an amazing job. And I'm excited that we're going to be together as coaches at the conference. You and I are going to be there. So you're going to come, you're going to learn, and you're going to leave with an action plan and new relationships and more business.
Wow. I am so grateful that you brought this situation, brought Dr. George C. Fraser here to the Kim Jacobs Show. We don't take it for granted. And I believe people's paths connect, not just cross, but we connect for reasons. And it's such a time as this. And I am so honored that things have come almost full circle from when I was 23 years old at a house party. And instead of having a party, we had what we called an entrepreneurial party. And Dr. George C. Fraser was our guest. And the foundation that was laid in that house that night changed all of our lives. We did not look at one stream of income ever again the same. I actually went on to have like 10 or so streams of income because of how important he shared the power of networking, the power of the wealth that we need to have as African American. So I'm just grateful. Then went on to interview him at PBS. I told you 15 years after that, had no idea that today in 2024, he would be on the Kim Jacobs Show. First of all, he's still alive and thriving. It's not, I mean, everybody is not alive going into their 80th year of life. This man is still carrying the same message from way back 27 years ago when I met him. That to me just is mind-blowing.
It's powerful, you know, and again, it's a testament to his mission in life. He's on purpose. He lives on purpose. He breathes on purpose. Everything about him is on purpose, and it always has been. That's why you were able to meet him, you know, when you were 23 and then brought him back to interview him again, because he hasn't changed. He is on assignment, and his assignment is clear. And we're being blessed because of his assignment. And that's what's so powerful, Kim. If I can just share this, this last thing. Everyone has lines. Everybody look at your hands, right? Look at the palm of your hands. You see lines, right? So I would ask you, if I were in front of you, what do you think those lines are saying? What do they mean? I liken these lines to your uniqueness and your God-given gifts and talents and your brilliance. Your mother, your father, your grandparents, your ancestors don't have these lines. Your children don't have these lines. Those lines are uniquely yours.
That's
I liken that to your purpose in life. No one can fulfill your purpose but you.
That's right. There's only one you, y'all. You got to come and just get Coach P's teaching and her power coaching session. She's going to be breaking it down for you. And I agree with you, Dr. Lotus. You said Coach P, where is that comment? Coach P is a class act. Yes, she is. She is such a class act. And she won't sell you a dream. She will share a reality to change your life for the better. That's a testimony about your coaching, Coach P. And I agree with you. And today, everybody, is my birthday as well. So happy birthday to me.
Okay, wait. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kim Jacobs. Happy birthday to you.
I didn't know you could that.
That's only in the shower, and then
Well, you can sing. You can sing any day. That right there just bless my soul. Thank you, ma'am. All right, y'all. We have had a great time here on the Kim Jacobs Show. Again, even with the small technical difficulties, we can't control if you're traveling and he's still trying to make it happen, even in the midst of traveling in hotel internet and stuff. He's like, oh, I don't care. We're gonna make this happen. That's a huge testament to who he is as a person.
That's
Dr.
right.
George C. Fraser, thank you for being here today.
That's awesome. And did he tell you who he was there with, Kim?
Oh, he told me Tiffany Haddish, and that he's going to be doing some special presentations. So I'm excited about that. I see all of your comments and birthday wishes and everything. Yes, sang, Coach P, sang. Y'all, we just doing some after party stuff now. We on here just tripping. But let's see. Yeah, Tiffany Haddish. He's actually in Los Angeles because they're doing a special award presentation, and he's there to do the presentation. I don't want to reveal who it's to because he told me backstage, but I don't know if it's been known yet who the presentation is going to. But I'm excited about it. Okay, anything else? I mean, I'm it's my birthday, y'all, so I'm just chilling. I'm chilling.
Well, thank you so much for just doing this today and having us. We so appreciate you, Kim. And as always, you are amazing, absolutely amazing. And your work is so important and so much needed.
Thank you so much, Pam. Okay, everybody, y'all have a great rest of your day. Let me put this link one more time for everybody to know how to go and get your conference tickets today. You said the discount ends. Is that what we're saying?
Today.
Okay, yeah, by midnight or what time?
11:59, midnight.
Okay, 11:59. The discounts that you see on this page, they expire. There's going to be the regular price at that point. Once that happens, it is what it is, as people say. So make sure you go and get your conference ticket today. All right. All right. The link is right there. All you got to do is copy and paste it. I did put the link here, Dr. Lotus, but can you copy and paste it right there? Anybody else having any challenge copying and pasting the link? I put it in the comments section. Oh, yes. Dr. Lotus said, please make sure you invite everybody to Ignite Your Life for Life virtual summit. And it's very inexpensive ticket price, like $37 or something. Get your tickets at igniteyourlifeforlife.com. That's www.igniteyourlifeforlife.com. And go ahead and grab your tickets. It's a virtual conference from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this upcoming Saturday. This is just about networking. Coach P, anything you have coming up outside of the Power Networking Conference that you want to say something about at all?
I have a Master Your Message coming up, a Master Your Message training on how to refine your power pitch. That's in a couple of weeks. So you can go to powerhouseinmotion.com. That's powerhouseinmotion.com.
Okay. Powerhouseinmotion.com.
And you can look under free training.
Let me put that in the comment section. Powerhouseinmotion.com. Motion.
Right.
.com. So that's the training that's coming up with Coach P. And
Yes.
she always lifts everyone else up. Please make sure you take a moment to go to Powerhouse Motion in
PowerhouseInMotion.com.
let me put that, make sure I got it right.
Motion.
Powerhouse in Motion.
Yes.
PowerhouseInMotion.com.
That's correct.
Go and learn about that conference as well. Again, we're networking. And many of you know too that I'm the managing director with eWomen Network in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. Pam is heavily involved with helping to build up the eWomen Network Charlotte chapter with business women entrepreneurs. And we have an event coming up on June 20th. That's going to be at the Charlotte Museum of History. So you can come and register and be a part of that too. And Dr. George C. Fraser said that he is really good friends with the founder of eWomen Network, Kim and Sandra Yancey. So he was very excited to hear that I'm the managing director with eWomen Network in Charlotte. Master your message. Yes, master your message training, powerhouseinmotion.com.
Thank you, Dr. Brashay.
All right, everybody. Look, we get ready to get up out of here. Coach P, thank you for the beautiful birthday blessings. Thank you for bringing Dr. George C. Fraser here. Thank you and the studio audience for being here today. I love all of you all. I love everybody, everybody. So it's been my honor and privilege.
Bye-bye. Make it a
All
great
right,
day.
everybody. Take care. Have a great one. See you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family to join you in the virtual studio audience Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you.